Today's topic is how to manage your branch accounts in TallyPrime through cost centers, right? So we are conducting this webinar continuously for the knowledge enhancement of the accountants as well as the business owners. This is our 14th continuous webinar. So in this session, next 60 minutes, I'm going to teach you about the cost center features in Tally. This session is organized by Asset Integrated Info System. So Asset Integrated Info System is #1 Tally partner in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. So you'll get one-stop solution for all your Tally, TDL, integration related supports. If you have any problem on your Tally or if you would like to upgrade your Tally software system that is called TSS, or if you need any customization on your Tally invoices reports, you can get in touch with us. Also, if you are interested to get training or if you want to get placed, you can be in touch with us. So you can reach us through the website assetintegrated.com. Let us start the session. So today's topic is how to manage your branch accounts in TallyPrime through cost center feature. There is a feature called cost centers. With that feature, we are going to count the branch expenses and branch income so that you can identify the performance of the branches. Not only the branches, departments, units, production units, are the branches of the organization. Everything you can do the performance analysis, right? This session I'm going to conduct for next 60 minutes. I request everyone to keep your audio and video muted. If you have any doubts, you can mention it in the chat box, or even you can unmute and ask your doubts. So at the end of the session, you'll be given 15 minutes time to clarify your doubts. Myself, Manikandan, I'm the Chief Knowledge Officer of Asset Integrated Info System. So let us get into the session. These are the 3 things I'm going to cover in today's session. So you know very well, we are conducting this webinar on every Tuesday and Thursday for the knowledge enhancement of the accountants as well as the business owners, especially the Tally users. The TallyPrime, GST, TDS, payroll features in Tally, and also related to the accounts and finance. So today we are going to cover the 3 topics, that is tracking of your cost and revenue of branches. For example, an organization is having multiple branches or multiple departments or multiple sales executives, multiple production units, kind of divisions. Okay. So in that case, sometimes an organization sees a profit, but a particular unit will gain a profit, another unit will give a loss. Okay. Sometimes in one division we earn a lot of profit, in another division we lose everything. So we will not be in a position to identify how the company is getting loss. So this branch accounting helps you to identify which division or a department or a branch or a unit of an organization is getting profit and which one is getting loss. So that we are going to discuss. And next thing is a comparison between branches. Okay, suppose you have a branch at Hyderabad and another branch at Bengaluru. You can compare which branch is performing good, the percentage of expenses incurred in Hyderabad and Bengaluru, and the volume of income you are gaining at Hyderabad and Bengaluru. Kind of a comparison which helps you to take a decision. Sometimes we close the particular branch which is getting loss for every time. So for that reason, this report will be useful, and branch-wise profit and loss generation also we are going to discuss. Right. First of all, what is cost center? I want someone to mention in the chat box if you are using the cost centers already. Right. Mention yes if you are using the cost center feature in your Tally already, or you mention no if you are not using the cost center features. Just to understand how many of them are using Tally cost center features. No. Sai Krishna. Okay. Anybody is using cost centers? Muhammad Imran. No. Okay. Anybody is using? Just mention yes. So anyway, I'm not going to ask question on that. Right. We'll get into the session. First of all, what is cost center? Okay. So it's a unit of an organization. Cost center is a unit, like we can say like a department or the branches or the project. Even a project is also a cost center. Okay. When you are spending some amount, you just classify for which purpose you are spending. Already you are classifying it like in the nominal nature, you'll be classifying as a rent, electricity, telephone, like that. Now you are going to classify for which department this amount is being spent. For example, you have production department, accounts department, sales and marketing department, like that. When you are spending for salary, when you are spending for electricity charges, when you are spending for staff welfare expenses, you can mention that this is the expenses made for particular accounts department or a production department or a manufacturing department. Similarly, when you are gaining some income, when you are gaining some revenue, you you can mention from which department this revenue is generated. So in case of revenue, we can take a branch. Okay, you have 4 branches. Let us assume that you have it in Hyderabad, Bengaluru, Chennai, and in Tirupati. So when you are receiving some revenue, so you can account that as being received from particular branch, so that you can identify the incomes of a particular branch and also an expenses of a particular branch. Okay, and sometimes a cost center can also function as a revenue center. That's why I said from particular branch you'll be gaining some revenue. For that particular branch you'll be spending some amount that we are going to account. What's the need for cost center? So in the introduction itself I said the need is to identify which department is performing good, or which branch is performing good, or which sales executive is performing good, or which production unit is taking less expenses when compared to other production divisions. Kind of a classification you can do. Okay, so primary focus, any organization is started with the intention of creating profit. So once we create a profit, our intention is to multiply the profit. So first year, if you gain 25 lakhs profit, so you'll be having an intention to multiply that profit to 40 lakhs, 60 lakhs, 75 lakhs to the next year. You'll be keep on trying to increase your profit. The ultimate objective is to earn money. At the same time, you have to reduce your expenses. When you're focusing on increasing your revenue, increasing your profit, the direct strategy is to reduce your cost. So the cost centers helps you to identify the expenses incurred for a particular branch or division. The overall organization's P&L, we can see it from the profit and loss statement, but the cost center wise profit and loss will help you to identify the sick unit, and also it helps to identify the unit or a branch which is performing good, so that you can encourage those team members so that they can perform well, or you can monetize like performance incentives, kind of a monetary incentives you can provide, so that they'll be motivated to do more sales, right? So the primary focus of maintaining this cost center is to monitor, control, and minimize your cost, and also to identify the performing or non-performing business division, so that you can try to close the non-performing organization, non-performing business division. Even if it is not performing for a continuous period, then you can try to close that non-performing unit. And finally, it gives some MIS for the management to take important decisions, like closing the particular unit. Or take an example in a positive way. Suppose a branch is performing good compared to other branch, you can do R&D on the particular branch and identify the reason for their more profit, whether it's because of the salesman's performance or whatever it is. You can identify and you can keep the same for the other branches also. So that's the reason we identify the expenses, we identify the income earned from a particular branch. And I'm giving you the example, like branches can be the cost center. For example, I have a branch, Hyderabad branch, Tirupati branch, Chennai branch, Bengaluru branch, kind of a cost centers you can have. So similarly, suppose you can say like, I don't have branches, I have only one office, one unit, or I have only head office. There is no branches or division. Okay, I'm operating from only one place. In that case, you can identify the department's expenses. For example, you'll be having accounts department, production department, sales and marketing department, or R&D department. So kind of a departments will be there. So you can identify the expenses of a particular department. Even this helps you to control your costs. Okay, for example, you can say like of how much we are spending for accounts department when you are taking a decision making for cost cutting and all. So it will be very much useful to identify how much you spend for a particular department. So you know very well. So for example, when there is a recession, even you take the example of COVID. So most of the non-performing divisions of the organization will be closed. So they'll give preference only to the performing department. So it helps the management to identify the non-performing or the area where we don't get the revenues. We get only expenses, but there is no revenue. They can try to minimize the expenses of a particular department also. And also you can have this kind of a cost centers for the units. For example, I have a production unit in 4 places. You can name it as a places also, or you can say like unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, unit 4, like that, so that you can identify the expenses incurred for a particular unit or the revenues generated from a particular unit, right? The ultimate objective is to identify the expenses incurred division and the income earning division, and you can have a comparison, right? Now, cost centers suitable, okay, branches, sales executives, even suppose an organization is a trading organization, that's their sales is performed by the sales executives. For example, I have 10 sales executives. Whenever I'm making a salary, I can say like the expenses incurred for particular employee. So here the employee or a sales executive is a cost center. Okay, even if the sales is happening, I can say like this sale is happening because of this particular executive. And finally, you can have a comparison, especially the medical representatives. Okay, so they bring orders and the salary is paid to them, petrol allowance is paid to them, mobile allowance is paid to them, or extra food allowance is paid to them. So at the end of the period, either monthly, quarterly, half yearly, or a annual basis, organization can do the performance analysis and which executive brought more revenue and how much is spent for the particular executive. So either it helps the organization to motivate that employee by giving compensations like bonus incentive, or it helps the organization to minimize the expenditure for the other executives, right? So in this way, you can have it for the production units to identify the cost incurred for a particular unit. So it can be a branch, it can be a department. I'm repeating, it can be an executive, it can be like a production unit, etc. Right? I know an organization, they will keep like first floor office, second floor office, third floor office kind of a cost center also, right? Now, cost center tracking through TallyPrime. Okay. See, earlier some companies I used to see. So what they will do is they'll maintain accounts in some software. They take the figure into Excel and they calculate the department-wise expenses or the branch-wise expenses in a separate calculation method. It takes time. Okay, it's a time-taking process. So suppose a management wants to take a decision. Nowadays, most of the managements, especially the young entrepreneurs, are taking quick decisions. Okay, they want all the details immediately, instantly. So in that case, accountants should be able to provide the reports instantly. That is the objective. So cost center in TallyPrime helps you to get the reports instantly. Okay, as soon as you record a transaction through vouchers, you know very well, in Tally we use vouchers to record sales, purchase, payments, receipts, etc. When you record the transaction, along with the debit and credits, you are going to use the cost center option to track such expenses. Now, for your easy understanding, I have two tables. In the first table, you can see there is a payment entry, that is on 23rd January, rent is being paid from ICICI bank account. It's a simple voucher entry. As per the double entry concept, there is a debit, there is a credit, 47,000 amount, there is a narration field also. But in the second field, you can identify that the rent is being paid for Hyderabad branch 25,000 and Tirupati branch 22,000. This is nothing but the cost center. Okay, it's not a tough process. That's why I mentioned in the previous chart that it is an additional action to be performed while recording the voucher entry. Okay, so it's very easy. You're not going to do it separately while recording the transaction. Additionally, you are going to use a field to track the particular expenses to the respective branch. Okay, so in this example, I have taken a branch example, not the department or a production unit, branch. I have 4 branches, I said. In this, rent is being paid 25,000 for Hyderabad and 22,000 for Tirupati branch. Okay, so it's a combined entry. Even you can post the entries separately. In that case, you have to track the cost centers also separately. So it's very easy to track the cost. Right. So now how to enable it from Tally, how to get it from Tally? As you know very well, Tally has basic and advanced concept. Like by default, you can maintain your books of accounts. You can post your sales entry, purchase entry, receipt entry, payment entry, contra entries by default. You no need to activate anything. Okay. So simply after you create a company without activating any advanced features, you can maintain your books of accounts without any hindrances. But if you want to enable an advanced features, sometimes the feature may not be applicable to one organization and it may be applicable to another organization. For example, payroll. So mine is a very small company, so I may not be using payroll features in Tally. For example, I have only 2-3 employees. Okay, so in that case, I may not be using payroll. In such cases, I no need to activate this payroll feature in the Tally. Simply, for example, in my organization, there is no GST. I'm doing my business less than 40 lakhs. In such cases, there's no need to activate GST from Tally advanced features area. So in this way, cost center is also treated as an advanced feature. It must be enabled from F11 features, right? So first you have to enable the cost center feature from F11. and then the cost center master is supposed to be created. For example, this is the master, accounting master. Rent is nothing but a ledger. It is an accounting master. Okay, similarly, if you are a trader, you'll be having a stock item. That stock item is nothing but an inventory master. Okay, similarly, this cost center, like Hyderabad branch, Tirupati branch, Bengaluru branch, Chennai branch is a cost center. You're supposed to create that master using the area cost center masters. Okay, and finally, the ledger is supposed to be enabled with the cost center. For example, when I'm making a rent, I want to track for which unit I'm making this payment. That case, the rent ledger, the cost center feature is supposed to be enabled. Similarly, whatever the ledger is supposed to be tracked with the cost center, you can enable the cost center feature. Otherwise, you can, there is no need to enable the cost center feature. I'll tell you the examples also. Now, let us get into the tally directly and we'll see it practically. Right. I hope everyone is able to see the tally screen. Now, F11 features. You know very well, F11 features is available from directly from gateway of tally. You can press F11 and enable, or you can enable through company, Alt K, company, and you can enable the F11 features. Right. So if you're not new to tally environment, so directly you can press F11 and enable the cost center features. Okay, so it is already enabled. I just enabled it for your purpose. Enable cost centers, right? So once it is enabled, then you have to create the cost center. There is a difference of enabling cost centers in F11, ERP9 and TallyPrime environment. Okay, so now we are discussing about TallyPrime. ERP9 is outdated. So in cost centers, in the masters, we have to create the cost center, right? First time after enabling it from F11, you'll be finding it from here. Suppose if any of these options are not available in your screen, then click show more. You'll get a lot of options. Even some of the inactive options are hidden. You can enable by clicking on the option show active or show inactive, right? So now cost center option is available. I'm not going to teach about the cost centers and cost center classes because this is the basic session. I'm just teaching you about cost center. Okay. Once again, in another session, we are going to discuss about cost category area in which you are going to create a cost center. Okay. So in this example, I've taken some cost centers already. I've created some cost centers. We'll see it from the alteration mode. I've created Bengaluru branch, Chennai branch, Hyderabad branch, and Tirupati branch. That means we are going to do some examples with the branches accounts. Okay, at the end of this, we are going to see the report of Tirupati branch. How much is the revenue earned by Tirupati branch? How much is the expenses incurred for Tirupati branch? Similarly, for Hyderabad branch, Chennai branch, and Bengaluru branch. Even you can compare both the branches. What is the performance between Hyderabad and Tirupati branch? Kind of a report also you can see. So within the organization, there should be some comparison within the department, within the branches for the healthy competition. So for that purpose also, this cost center is going to help us, right? Now, if you want, you can create some more cost centers also. You know very well, creation, any masters, get into masters, create and select the respective master like ledgers, groups, etc. So in that area, you are going to create a cost center, right? Initially, you can keep all the cost centers as primary, and in the advanced session, I will teach you how to categorize it. That is different. Now, once the cost center is created, the cost center is supposed to be categorized for a particular accounting head, particular ledger. Okay. Now, already we have created some ledger. I'll create some more ledgers, right? I'm creating a ledger, for example, bonus. It is an indirect expenses. Then I'm going to deactivate GST features right now. And once the ledger is grouped, check with the right hand side, there is an option for more details. Shortcut key is Control I, or you can click more details. Then you can find the option cost centers applicable, right? Cost center applicable, yes. For this bonus, cost center is applicable. That means when I'm making payment, I'm going to categorize for which branch I'm making this bonus payment, whether it is for the Tirupati branch or Hyderabad branch or Bengaluru branch or Tamil Nadu branch. So kind of a tracking of an expenses for a particular branch, right? So I'm going to enable this option for bonus. Similarly, I'm creating some more expenses. For example, transportation charges. Yes, I would like to categorize it for the branches. So Control I. By default, by default, for the expenses grouping and also for the income grouping, Tally will enable the cost centers. You don't need to enable it. If you want, you can disable it. Okay. For example, for which ledger we can disable it? For example, for the bank charges. For example, bank charges is a corporate expenses. So it is not for a particular branch. For example, in your organization, you don't want to track the bank charges for a particular branch. Then what you can do is you can disable it. For example, already I've created bank charges ledger. In that, you can disable the cost center. Yes, this has been disabled. Right. So again, once again, one more ledger, like I'm going to alter the ledger interest on loan, right? Interest on loan, it's not a loan taken for a particular branch. So I don't want to track that interest for a particular branch. So I'd like to disable the cost center feature. So I can get into Control I and I can disable it, right? So now we are going to pass some of the sales entries, some of the expenses entries so that we can identify the branch's income and expenditure. So I'll show you the sales ledger, which I've already enabled the cost center. Cost center's applicability, yes. So that means whenever I'm passing sales entry, Tally is going to ask a question, which department has performed this particular sales, right? Now, I'll pass some sales entry for your easy understanding. I'm taking September month as the cost center tracking report month. Casually, you can pass the sales entry as usual. So nothing is the rocket science here. The normal sales entry you are going to pass, and after you allocate the sales ledger, it is an invoice mode. After you allocate it in the, so once the amount is allocated to the sales ledger, Tally will ask a question for which branch you are going to, you are gaining this income. That's all. So it's very simple. Normal sales entry. After you select a ledger for the allocation of stock item, because the cost center is enabled for the sales ledger, not for the party ledger. See, I'm seeing some of the accountants are doing mistake in this area. So instead of activating cost center for the sales ledger, they will activate it for sales as well as for the customer. For the customer, you're not supposed to enable the cost center. So for the customer, for the suppliers, you should not enable the cost center. For them, you have to enable the bill-wise details. Then only you can track the outstanding. You can track the receivables and payables. For them, you can enable the GST features, not the cost center. In one transaction, just assume that this is the sales transaction. So debit 360 smart solution, customer name, credit sales ledger. So if you use cost center for both the ledger, for debit as well as credit, what happens is you'll get a mess up report. Okay, so be clear with the features for the customers and suppliers. You are not supposed to enable the cost center feature. Instead, you can enable the cost center feature for the income and expenditure ledgers. Now, I'm passing a sales entry. While completing the sales entry, while accepting the sales ledger, you'll be asked to allocate the cost center. Now I have allocated the cost center. Okay, once again, I'll pass one more entry, vouchers, change the date. For a real-time experience, I'm passing sales entry as we do it in the business. I'm selecting the stock item rate, quantity, etc. While accepting the transaction, you're supposed to select the particular accounting head. It can be sales, it can be local sales, it can be GST sales, something, whatever the sales ledgers you have, you can select it. After you select the sales ledger, again, the allocation screen will open to select the cost centers. Now you can select. See, in particular sales, particular transaction, you can have multiple cost centers also. That I will show you to you later. And I'm going to accept sales transaction. Similarly, I'm going to pass some expenses entry. For example, on 21st September, while making payment, I'm making cash payment for transportation charges. For example, I'm going to pay 20,000 to one particular transport company. Okay, see, as soon as I selected the amount, Tally will show you the cost center field. Now I'm making this payment for two branches expenses. There is a possibility. Okay, I'm making a 20,000 rupees payment for a particular transport company towards the rendered service for Hyderabad branch and also for the Tirupati branch. Here, the magic is the amount incurred is 20,000. Suppose if I do some mistake, till I accept the value for 20,000, just see the last line, it is showing 19,500. Actually, we incurred 20,000. Total amount should be adjusted here. Then only Tally move to the next field. Suppose I'm selecting the Hyderabad branch once again. So you will get an error notification. That is duplicate entry. So there is no necessary to select the same cost center once again. Okay. For example, I spent this amount for Chennai, 500. That's all. Similarly, all the expenses. Okay. For example, I'm making payment of salary, total salary of 2 lakhs. In that, for Bangalore branch 25,000, Chennai branch 75,000, Hyderabad branch 90,000, and Tirupati branch 10,000. Right? So it is not necessary that you have to post the total 2 lakhs payments in one entry. Right? This is also possible. I just want to show you that in single entry itself, you can allocate multiple cost centers. Sometimes you don't get the cost centers displayed here. Okay, it's because of F12 configuration. See here, select cost center class is there. So you can have the cost centers displayed on the screen itself. See here, show cost center details. If it is disabled from your F12, you will not get it in the screen. If you want, you can get it in the screen or it will be hidden. That's all. It is there, but it is not coming on the screen. Right? Some people, they'll be having multiple ledgers in single screen. Additionally, if they get cost centers, for them, it is some kind of a disturbance. So what they can do is they can disable it from the F12. Show cost centers, no right. So I'm going to accept this transaction. Even every expenses, you can track it individually also. For example, I'll put one more expenditure like electricity charges, 40,000 per Hyderabad branch. Then one more expenditure. For example, bonus, 10,000 per Hyderabad branch. So individually also you can post the transaction, right? So this is how you are going to make the cost centers. It helps you to identify the branch-wise performance. In this example, we have taken only one type of a cost center. Okay. Suppose if you want to have multiple cost center in one transaction, for example, while making the salary, I just want to track that the salary is being paid to Tirupati branch. And also I would like to track that the salary is paid for the staffs, Ramu, Kumar, Satish, Raju. So one, the branch, and number two, the executives. Both the cost centers, if you want to apply, it is also possible. So you can have multiple category of cost centers, not the individual cost centers, multiple category of cost centers also you can have it, right? Now let us see how the reports are coming in case of branch-wise accounting. Advanced, see, you have to see the reports in this way, like basic financial statements, very important, and very, very important financial statements are trading account, profit and loss account, and balance sheet. So these reports are available in the basic screen itself, that is in the gateway of Tally itself. Okay. So if you want more reports, you can get into display more reports. In that also, there are two areas: accounts book, statement of accounts. Accounts book is for the basic reports and statement of accounts for the advanced reports. So here accounts book will carry your ledger books and individual transaction registers, sales register, purchase register, by payment register, receipt register, contract register, etc. Whatever the voucher type is enabled, all those voucher registers will be available in the accounts book. But the statement of accounts is for the advanced reports like receivables and payables, like outstanding, interest calculation, projections, budgets, and your cost center type of reports. You can get it from statement of accounts, right? So cost centers. In that, there are 4 types of reports. One, cost center summary. That means it shows all the cost centers. Okay, so whatever the income earned for the branches, whatever the expenses incurred for the branches will be available overall. It's the overall income and expenditure of respective branches. So you have to identify through the debit and credit options. Hope you know very well. Credit is nothing but your income. Debit is nothing but your expenditures. Okay. So you can refer the report now. Bengaluru branch, total expenditure. I'll select the period also. Okay. For the month of September, I'm going to track only for the month of September. So Bengaluru branch, the month of September, 5,50,000 is the revenue and 25,000 is the cost. And finally, refer the last column, net figure. You can identify whether this branch has incurred profit or loss. It's a profit. 5,25,000 CR. CR is nothing but the credit balance. So that means it's a profit from the particular branch. And Chennai branch, 75,500 and 13,75,000 income. Finally, 12,99,500 is the profit from Chennai branch. And Hyderabad branch, you can say like 1,52,000 as expenditure and 9,80,000 as the income. Finally, net profit is nothing but 8,28,000. And Tirupati branch, 17,500 as expenditure and 4,21,400 as income. Total profit is nothing but 4,03,900. Now you can identify the performance of a particular branch, right? Here also you have F12 configuration. You can have anything. For example, I'll put show percentages. Okay. Now you see the report. You can see the percentage. Okay. You can see the percentage on the overall. So that means an organization, see the bottom of this report, an organization is getting a profit of 30,56,400, out of which 42.52% earned by Chennai branch and 27% profit earned by Hyderabad branch, 13.21% profit from Tirupati branch and 17.18% from Bengaluru branch. So out of the total 30 lakhs, you can see the performance of a particular branch. See, there are a lot of additional information available in the F12. I'll remove the see, you can refer this percentage of what? Percentage of totals, right? If you want the report in detailed or condensed format, you can make it. And the base currency symbol, if you want, you can have it. Sorting methods also you can have. For example, amount increasing. Like when I'm seeing the report, so if you have multiple branches, management may be asking the reports on a top performing branches, then you press F12. See, this kind of configurations is available for all the reports, P&L, balance sheet, ledger reports. So you refer the F12 configuration. It will be very much useful for you. And some accountants, still I'm seeing you, some accountants are copying the data in Excel and making the sorting in Excel. Instead of that, you can take it from Tally itself. Sorting method, amount decreasing. Okay, then the top performer is coming up. Okay, the decreased value will go down. So highest performing branch, second, third, and finally we have Tirupati branch with the 13.21%. That is the lowest performing branch. So this kind of a cost center summary. So when I'm seeing this report, management is asking a question. This Hyderabad, we have spent 1,52,000. What for we have spent, whether it is a salary or a bonus or transportation or electricity or what is it is. So there will be a question. So what you can do is you can enter and you can list down the transaction, but management may not be happy to see this report. Okay, because they cannot total the figures and take the decision. Instead, come out and go to the cost center breakup, select the Hyderabad branch. That means now you are going to see the report of Hyderabad branch, that is the revenues earned by Hyderabad branch and the expenses, particular expenses incurred for a Hyderabad branch. See, sales 9,80,000, expenses 1,52,000. So now the management question is, what are those expenditures, right? So you can use Shift Enter. So if you want to see the reports in detail, so there is an option in TallyPrime, Alt F5. So see the last, sorry, there is a right hand side, there is a navigation button. So in that F5 is ledger wise report, but refer the right hand side, there is a navigation button. If you click into that, you can see in detail. Okay, so Alt F5, it's a toggle key to see it in detail or to see it in condensed mode. For both, only one key, Alt F5, again Alt F5. Or you can see the report ledger wise also. Okay, so if you see the report ledger wise, so somewhat everything is mingled. Income, expenditure, everything is mingled. Instead of that, you can see the report group wise and Alt F5. So the report is so elegant. Revenues are separated and expenditures are separated. So this kind of a cost center summary also you can view. So there are multiple options to view this report. Okay, cost center summary, I'm selecting Hyderabad branch, Alt F5. Now, management wants to compare the Hyderabad branch with Tirupati branch. So it is possible, it is the need for the management. They want to see the difference between the performance between the Hyderabad branch and Tirupati branch. So what they can do is, so from this screen, you can use Alt C. See, there is an option, Alt C, okay, new column. You can have one more column here to see the performance of a Tirupati branch. See here, the top shows cost center for Hyderabad branch. Now use Alt C. See, this is not only for cost centers. You have to understand this kind of a reporting and customization is not only for cost center. It is applicable for all type of reports. Refer the right hand side. If you find new column, then you can have the comparison report. Okay, for the period. See here, I have selected September for the month of September. Again, for the new column also, I'm going to have it for September, but for the Tirupati branch. Earlier, I have already Hyderabad branch report. I would like to see Tirupati branch report. Now you can see Tirupati branch report. So this is how you are going to compare. Now, what is the sales of Tirupati branch and what is the sales of Hyderabad branch? In Hyderabad branch, sale is 9,80,000. In Tirupati, sale is 4,21,000. So what is the cost, total cost of Hyderabad branch and Tirupati branch? Here it is 1,52,000. Here it is 17,50,000. Sorry, 70,500. So if you want, you can add one more branch also. I'm going to add Bengaluru branch. Or you add one more branch, Chennai branch. Right? All the branches are available here. You can scroll the report to right and left side and you can see the detailed report also. So here again, you select F12. If you want the closing balance, you can get it or you can remove the closing balance. See, there is no closing balance so that the report is shown in the single screen itself. It is Hyderabad, Tirupati, Bengaluru and cost center, Chennai branch, right? So this is one way to get the report. Okay. And suppose you want to see the salary spent for which unit, you can get into through ledger breakup. For example, salary spent for which unit? Only the salary report. Management wants to see the cost of every branch, that is HR cost of a particular branch. Then you can see the ledger report. Same area, gateway of tally, display more reports, statement of accounts, cost centers, ledger breakup. Now you can select a particular ledger, that is salary, that is the HR cost incurred for every branch you can refer, right? And also I would like to see some other expenditure. I would like to see this sales. I'll take it for only for September. So I'd like to see it for sales. Now I can select sales. You can refer. So when the Bengaluru branch is earning 5,50,000 and spending 25,000 for salary, where Chennai branch is earning 13,75,000 and spending 75,000 as salary. Here also you have percentage option of totals or a first column, whatever you want to have. So you'll be having the percentages, total or the columns also you can have. Right? So you can have the columns percentage. So this is how we are going to maintain our branch accounts. So normally your P&L will show the overall organization's performance. Okay, individually, if you want to refer a particular branch performance, then better use the cost center report, and we can do some more advancements as I said already. So you can have the cost centers, automatic cost centers. Okay, some of the expenses as I told already, like for example, interest is not spent for a particular branch, it is spent for all the branch. For example, organization is taking loan for the business expansion. Okay, so for the working capital purpose or whatever it is. Okay, so which branch supposed to bear that interest? All the branches have to bear the interest equally. So in that case, what you can do is in Tally, you can define the cost classes, cost center classes. That means you can fix the branches percentage. Chennai branch 25%, Hyderabad branch 25%, Tirupati branch 25%, and Bengaluru branch 25%. So the final result is when you are posting the entry, for example, I'm passing the entry interest on loan to cash or interest on loan to ICICI. There is no need to select the cost centers manually, right? It will be automated. Once you define it, it will be automated. Then there is no need to allocate the cost centers manually. That will save you a lot of time, right? Now, let us see. There is an option in the masters. Show more cost center class. For example, I say interest or common expenses. For Bengaluru branch 25%, Hyderabad branch 25, sorry, Chennai branch 25, and finally Tirupati branch 25. So this is how I'm configuring my cost centers. Now I select my voucher entry. When I'm passing the transaction, for example, there is a ledger, interest on loan, right? So ensure that the cost center is applicable. That means cost center is enabled for this particular entry, right? So after enabling this option, you can pass the entry. That means the entry will be saved and there won't be any manual allocation, right? So there won't be any manual allocation of cost centers, right? So this is one area where you can become an expert, like maintaining the branch accounts. Similarly, there is one more thing you have to learn, that is the cost category. So what is cost category means? If a particular transaction has more than one cost centers, as I said already, like you want to maintain branch expenses, branch allocations, as well as for the employee wise cost tracking, then you can have multiple cost centers in particular transaction itself. So that you can have multiple cost center reports, right? So, and I would like to give some additional information that you can customize your invoice. You can customize any of your reports in Tally. For example, some business owners will be expecting different type of reports, which is not available in Tally. Some of the reports are available in Tally, and you can use F12 configuration to use it. You can maximize the available configuration, and you can change the report pattern. Okay, but sometimes your expectations will not be available in F12 configuration also. So what you can do is you can customize your invoices. You should know that there is an option in Tally to customize it. Okay, not only the invoices, also the reports you can customize, so that whenever you want to see the reports which is customized for your organization, you can customize it. Okay, right. So see, this is a sample I've taken. By default, Tally will give a black and white invoice. So I'll not say that that's a wrong pattern that is available. If you want to make it colorful, for example, like your Tally logo. So this is our company. We are the Tally distributors. So we'd like to keep our product on the top. Okay, so the company name. So everything you can keep it at the top. Even in the bottom, if you want to have it like your letterhead, or if you want to have your seal and signature by default. Earlier, We take a printout and we put our seal and signature in the invoices and we send it to the customers through couriers. Nowadays, we are not sending the couriers. Most probably after COVID, we stopped sending couriers of our invoices, physical paper printouts. So instead of that, we are sending the PDF copies through WhatsApp or email. Even from Tally, after you pass a sales entry, you can send WhatsApp to your customer. It is also automated. And for that, you can configure your seal and signature so that when you're generating the reports in PDF, it will be automatically. So this is how you are going to customize your invoices. If you want, you can customize. Just an information I'm passing you. And I'd like to inform you that we are opening an academy. So it is in the name of Assert Genesis House of Accountants. We are opening it shortly. If you want to learn something on Tally, GST, accounts, income tax, TDS, etc., you can get in touch with us. And we have a placement department also. We started providing placement services to the candidates who's seeking a job in accounts department, right? So you can get in touch with us through tallyhr.com. Even the business owners, if you want to recruit a good accountant, you can recruit through us. TallyHR.com is a platform between accountants and the company owners. You can get in touch with us to get good accountant job or to get a good accountant, right? And one more information, in your Tally, if you find a red dot next to your F1 button, that means something is missing on your Tally. Okay, so what you're supposed to do is you have to click into that so that you can find the reason for that red button. See in this screen, upgrade. That means your system is not having a latest edition of Tally. So the latest release of Tally is TallyPrime release 5.1. Suppose if you are using the older releases, that means you are not using Tally with its fullest capacity. So from release 5 onwards, you can file your GST returns through Tally itself. No need to generate JSON and open GST portal and upload it. From Tally itself, you can upload your GSTR 1 and 3B reports. Even you can do the GSTR 2B reconciliations also. It will minimize your time. So you have to upgrade your system. The latest release is 5.1, which is in effect from 2nd December. So you just refer your system when there is a red button, alarm button, or on the F1, you can find the red button next to your upgrade. Or see the alarm button, two things, two messages I have. That means my system is not having a latest edition. The latest is 5.1. I'm using the 5 release, I think. We can check it through here also. See, my TSS is going to be expired. So the two messages are available. When you see a red button, just click and see the details. Suppose if you want to know more about the TSS, your system updates, so you can get in touch with us in this number, or you can email to us info@tally.com. So all the webinars are recorded. So the recorded webinars will be posted on the webinar attendees groups. There is a WhatsApp group, webinar attendees WhatsApp group. In that, the recorded videos will be posted. It's a YouTube link. You can watch it for your future reference. Thank you very much for your participation. Suppose if you feel that the webinar will be useful for your friends who's in the account circle, you can tell them that this is the calendar. The next session we are going to have it on 28th Tuesday. Every Tuesday and Thursday we are conducting webinars. Next on 28th, that is how to master yourself on the banking futures. Okay, Tally has a lot of banking features. If you are using the banking feature, your work will be reduced. Okay, so like reconciliation, generating the payment advices, payment challans, etc. You can do it from Tally. There is an option you can do the auto reconciliation also. So no need to download the bank statements and do the reconciliation manually. From your bank account, you can give a single click and download your upload your Excel format of bank statement, and you can do the auto reconciliations also, right? So in shortly you'll be getting bank gateway from Tally. Okay, so that kind of advancement is happening in Tally. On 30th, we have the topic interest calculation, right? If you feel that the session is useful, share it to your friends so that they will also get benefited. Next session, we are going to have it on Tuesday, that is on 28th, right? Thank you very much for your participation. Thank you very much.